Eddie, up next we speak to both leaders, their last-minute pitch to voters. Also, we'll look at how bad a result it will be for Labor, who won't survive. Also, amazing pics of Sunshine Coast flooding, and Wally and Lockie live from Perth. I'll see you soon.
Good luck. Premier in waiting. Campbell Newman's election eve victory lap.
Labor's big players plea to voters as the party faces a political wrecking ball.
The hunt for Heinel over. The controversial councillor picked up by police.
The Sunshine Coast cleans up after freak flash flooding.
And a roll call of Australia's greatest leaders. Farewell, Margaret Whitlam.
This is 9 News with Andrew Lofthouse and Melissa Downs.
And good evening from what will be a hive of activity tomorrow night, the tally room. The campaign is all but over, and on the eve of the state election, Campbell Newman is poised for an historic landslide victory. He's taken nothing for granted though, spending the day campaigning, pleading with voters not to let the chance for a change slip away.
Anyone who doubted change is in the air should have been at Rockley Markets this morning.
Congratulations, mate. Awesome. Awesome. About time.
The backslaps, the handshakes, the Newman mood told the story.
Meanwhile, Labor's heavyweights have embarked on a last-ditch blitz for votes. Some are predicting the party will be left with only enough members to form a football team. Others say the number could be as low as 7.
It felt like the long kiss goodbye. The last stops of the Bligh bus was filled with farewells from colleagues and strangers.
All the very, very best, my dear.
Of the 89 seats in Parliament, Labor holds 51, the LNP 31, but that could shrink to 12 to the ALP and 72 plus for the LNP.
Among the big casualties for Labor include the Deputy Premier Andrew Fraser. Most of the cabinet would be wiped out. So-called future premiers like Stirling Hinchliffe and Cameron Dick would hang on only by their fingernails, and every Labor MP on the Gold Coast would be wiped out. In fact, Anna Bligh would remain one of only a handful of safe seats. And if that's true, Campbell Newman's power will be limited.
Well, the man of the moment joins me now from live from outside Parliament House. Campbell Newman, have you been measuring up the Premier's office?
Definitely not. And the point I make this evening to my fellow Queenslanders is that your vote counts. It's your decision. We're asking that tomorrow you go into those polling booths across the state and you vote for change. There's a strong, united LNP team. We've got great policies, but it's your decision. Please vote for change. That's our appeal to everyone across the state.
Mr Newman, good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I spoke to the Premier, Anna Bligh, just before going to air. Premier, how bad will the damage be tomorrow?
Well, Andrew, I know what the polls say and I know what the predictions are, but it's Queenslanders who will decide, and until they mark their ballot paper and put it in that ballot box, I don't think any of us can truly know what the outcome will be. But if those polls are replicated tomorrow, then it's clear that the LNP may well be headed for a landslide victory. And I think an LNP government with unlimited power is not a good thing for Queensland.
Premier, good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And State Political Editor Spencer Jolly joins me now. Spencer, what's your prediction?
Well, basically, Andrew, we'll be able to officially call who's won the election within a half hour after the polling booths close. Now, the LNP is going to win big. Just how big is the remaining question. Will, for instance, the LNP be able to topple Peter Beattie and Labor's 66-seat landslide victory in 2001, Andrew?
Have you ever seen a campaign like it?
No, it's been vicious, hard, and then throw a tornado in the middle of it. No, I haven't. But basically the train wreck that Labor's facing is very evident in the far north. They're set to lose Cairns, a seat the party's held since its inception in 1904, Andrew.
We're looking forward to you being with us tomorrow night too. Thanks, Spencer. Well, 9 News is committed to bringing you the result first tomorrow, but we'll also have the most high-tech election coverage ever seen for a Queensland election. Davina Smith has gone behind the scenes to give you a peek at what you can expect.
From handwritten sums on blackboards to computer-calculated trends and results, never before has an election been so tech-savvy.
I remember the days when it was a bit like horse and buggy. You'd wait for each vote to be counted and then relayed to the tally room. Now it's instant. and Nine's technology will mean that we'll have it instantly ahead of everyone else.
Why? Because we're plugged into the Electoral Commission's computers, comparing results from the last election to votes as they're counted live tomorrow night. And for 2,000 people across Queensland, tomorrow you'll get the chance to vote twice. Galaxy Research will hand 9 News an exclusive survey tomorrow afternoon before the polls close, revealing the swings and the upsets.
What our exit poll will show is whether those swings are being seen in Brisbane or the Gold or Sunshine Coast or elsewhere.
And you get a chance to sit on our panel of experts and be a political commentator yourself through Facebook and Twitter. You might be out of a job.
I might be out of a job, but I'm sure people are smarter than me anyway.
DAVINA Smith, 9 News.
Our coverage will be live and exclusive from 5 p.m. with the most experienced panel of experts and, of course, that Galaxy exit poll. That's live coverage tomorrow from 5 p.m. And Melissa, as you can see, we've got the historic occasion covered for Queensland, and I'll be back soon to talk with Peter Beattie and to get his final impressions of this campaign.
All right, look forward to it. Thanks, Andrew. Well, to other news now, and the hunt for Heinel Black is over, with the rogue Logan councillor arrested this afternoon after a week on the run. She faced court this afternoon and Ebony Cavallaro was there. Ebony, what happened?
Well, Melissa, she's been released on bail again. Now, Heinel Black was found around 2 o'clock this afternoon at a friend's house at Bellbowrie. The house is owned by a barrister, a friend who's been helping her with her case. When she appeared, she looked extremely tired. Now, Melissa, Heinel has vowed to take this as far as the High Court. She says she has evidence that shows the law is being misused.
All right, Ebony, thank you. Up next in the news...
I'll tell you who I think won the election campaign.
And on their bikes, Hells Angels hit the Gold Coast.
Listen to 9 News live every night at 6 on River 949.
If it happens at Deception Bay, you'll see it first on 9 News.
Hundreds of outlaw bikers from the Hells Angels are tonight partying on the Gold Coast. Police are keeping a close watch on them, and for more we're joined by Darren Curtis in Surfers Paradise.
Melissa, 200 bikers are staying here at Sun City Resort. Now, they've been checked in and throughout the afternoon there's been all sorts of equipment and catering brought in for their 3-day long party that's going to go on here. We've been pelted with these coins from the verandas of the resort, so you can guarantee that if that's the standard of behaviour, they're going to see a lot of police over this weekend.
Yeah, Darren, and I wonder how the other guests feel about their fellow neighbours. Thanks, Darren. Well, let's cross back now to Andrew at the tally room.
Here we go.
Yes, Melissa, with me is the former Premier and Nine's election commentator, Peter Beattie. Peter, opinion polls aside, who's won the campaign?
Well, Campbell Newman has. He started off nervous and a little prickly, but he gained confidence as the campaign went on, and I think you saw today that he knows he's going to win, he feels reassured, but he clearly won the campaign.
What about Ashgrove?
Look, Ashgrove will still be close. The latest polls indicate that Campbell will win it, but Kate Jones has done an amazing job. If she was to win it, she'd become a Labor hero and she'd become opposition leader.
Your prediction then, because it's a case of it's the LNP, yeah. But I guess by how much?
Well, I think the LNP will get around 70 seats, Labor Party about 17, with a couple of independents out of a parliament of 89. 17, maybe even less? Could be. I think there's a bit of a movement back to the Labor Party in the last few days, but I predict around about 17. But whatever, it'll be difficult for the Labor Party to form an effective opposition. It's not a good result. All right, and for Anna Bligh, what about her future? Look, I think Anna should be very proud of the fact that she was the state's first female Premier. Now, she'll obviously have to stay on to groom a future leader because there's not going to be one in the Parliament based on these results. And then, no doubt, when that's done, she's groomed a successor. She'll move on and leave the Parliament and go into private life. All right, we'll look forward to you being with us tomorrow night. Thank you. Thanks, Peter Beattie. And that's Heels is next up with the sport.
Yeah, thanks very much, Lofty. It's the Broncos v the Rabbitohs in Perth tonight. Wally and Lockie are in the West to give us their latest. And the schoolgirl superbiker with a GP in her sights. It's the Broncos up against the Rabbitohs in Perth tonight, and Wally and Lockie are there. Well, there's been some speculation about Jared Beale's place in the team. Will he be starting, do you think?
Well, I've just had it confirmed by the Broncos, mate, that he will be in the starting side. No problem for the boys at all, and they're feeling quite confident for this game. I'm joined by former Broncos skipper Darren Lockyer, and I guess it's good news for the blokes as well, Lockie, but the boys have arrived in Perth just 24 hours before. Does that give them enough time to prepare? Right, mate. Well, there's all the action. Heels, of course, coming up here from Perth. The Broncos up against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. It'll be a great game.
Yeah, it's a great clash to look forward to. A sister act in London awaits, with 19-year-old Kate Campbell and little sister Bronte winning a spot in the Olympic team after finishing first and second in last night's 50 freestyle final.
I hit the wall and I was more worried about where Bronte was than what I had come.
Australia will take a 44-member strong Dolphins squad to the Games. That is a fantastic dream for her.
Yeah, we'll watch her progress.
Yeah.
Thanks, Heels. Well, Gary has the weather details next.
It's been a very wet week of weather across the entire state. It started with a tropical low in the Gulf country, bringing the flooding rain over the far north. Then we had a tornado, bringing some destruction around Townsville, heavy rain through the interior, then the flash floods throughout southeast Queensland. The good news, the tropical low has now moved offshore, and we're seeing a very nice afternoon and even better start to the weekend. These are the rainfall figures up until 9 this morning. Maroochydore, 312 millimetres, the wettest March day in 41 years. On the weather map, a change in seasons. Cooler southwesterly winds already bringing a little bit of alpine snow in Victoria. It will start to cool down into New South Wales tomorrow. A low of 4 for Canberra, 13 in Sydney tomorrow morning, with a few showers for Adelaide, Melbourne and also in Hobart. Now, possible showers across far northern Queensland. Isolated coastal showers from Rocky through to Gympie. Inland, we're in for a dry and mostly sunny day, but temperatures starting to warm up. In the southeast, there is the chance of a coastal shower. Probably a 40 to 50% chance to warm, but probably only a 30% chance of a shower for Saturday. Temperatures are up to about 28 degrees for Ipswich. On the water, the wind reaching 15 to 20 knots from the south-southeast by late morning. Brisbane, 20 degrees to start your Saturday morning. A possible shower and a high of 28. Then the chance of showers over the next 7 days. The morning's getting cooler from Monday morning. But with all the beach details, Bertie, how are we looking for the weekend?
Well, Gaz, it was a picture-perfect afternoon today, my friend. And this weekend, well, the star's looking pretty good. Let's head outside and see what's happening.
On the surfing scene, best to get out nice and early before those southeasterly winds crank up the coastline at the moment. Swell sitting steady at a metre plus. It will drop down a touch on the points. This is Burleigh this morning, going absolutely berserk. And, of course, a little bit of surf rage out there. Times are tough, boys. Take it easy. You don't want to see any damage being caused by either yourselves or the boards. Now, on the boating scene, it looks as though the offshore grounds later in the day will become quite rough. So please be careful on the coastal bars. It looks as though the estuaries will be the best bet later on Sunday as well, as 25 knot is forecast to roll up the coastline. And speaking of estuaries, been some great catches coming through. Thomas on board Coastal Sport Fishing Charters getting his clients amongst a great haul of mulloway, flathead and even a lovely big golden trevally. Well done to you from the Southport Seaway.
Back to you, Melissa.
All right, thank you, Bertie. We're going to cross back to Andrew now. Andrew, what time does the tally room actually open tomorrow?
Well, Melissa, as soon as the polls close, anyone can come down here and watch, so make sure you come over to our set and say hi. And if you can't, our coverage begins at 5 p.m. Melissa, it's going to be a historic day.
We will all be watching, Andrew. Thank you. That is our news tonight. Good night.